What's going on, everyone? Bran here from Bloody Breakdown, and today I wanted to make a video about something I've been thinking about, and I know a lot of people who subscribe to this channel have been thinking about as well. Now, before we get into anything else, I just want to clarify there will be no spoilers in this video. This is all merely speculation on who I believe, just my opinion, could possibly be Ghostface, the killer or killers in the new Scream 5, Scream 2022, however you want to address it. But before we get in, ladies and gents, make sure you leave me a like if you've enjoyed this video. If you're not already subscribed, maybe you haven't already turned on the notification bell. Hey, maybe now's a good time to do it. Maybe at the end of this video, once you see how fucking amazing my detective skills are. Or hey, even check down below in the description section, guys, my link to my Twitter and Patreon if you'd like to follow me or support my work. I would be eternally grateful. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump right in. So as you all know, by reading the title of this video, you clicked on it for a reason. Maybe you want to hear my speculation. I want to hear what you all think too down below in the comments. Please let me know your thoughts on my take and just your thoughts in general as to who you believe Ghostface may be. So on the screen here, I have almost the entire cast. There are a few people missing off of here. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and I have a list prepared actually of all the names in the upcoming Scream film. And I guess what I'm going to do here is read some of these out so we can kind of just get an idea for who's in the film. So, of course, we have Sidney Prescott, Dewey Riley, Gayle Weathers Riley, I don't know, Samantha Carpenter and Tara Carpenter, the Carpenter sisters, Richie Kirsch, Judy Hicks, returning from Scream 4, Wes Hicks, Chad Meeks Martin, Vince, no last name, Mindy Meeks Martin, Amber Freeman, Liv McKenzie, Deputy Farney, Deputy Vinson, and of course Martha Meeks as well. So, who do I think is Ghostface? Now, I'm not going to give one definitive answer here. I have a couple of ideas of who I think may be behind this Ghostface mask. Now, let me go ahead and eliminate some people here from contention that I think there's really no way that they're Ghostface. Off the bat, Sidney Prescott and Dewey Riley. I see absolutely no way. Personally, I could be convinced that either one of these characters could ever be Ghostface. With a small caveat, and that'll get us into my first prediction. This one is not one of my higher ranked predictions. That's kind of why I'm starting out with this one. I think this is probably the least likely scenario of any guess that I have in this video, and that is that the killers are Dewey and Gayle. Now, with that being said, I know a lot of people are probably going to look at that and be like, nah, I don't know. But hear me out. In Scream 4, Gayle was having some issues with her career. Sidney had kind of leapt bounds above her in what was Gayle's career way before it was Sidney's. And she was having some trouble once again adjusting to staying in Woodsboro. And you got to think it's been 10 years, at least we believe, since the events of Scream 4. And things have calmed down again. And there's probably not that much money to be made off of this story. It's all old news at this point, all old hat. What's to stop Gayle from saying, you know what, if no one's going to come out and take the mantle of Ghostface, maybe I do it and reap the benefits. And maybe my sheriff husband covers it up and or helps me. Now, I would lead more toward the cover up, to be honest with you, because I think that, I mean, Dewey loves Gayle, and there's very few things that I think he wouldn't do for her, those characters. But I don't know. I think that was a little bit far-fetched, but I think that it's a possibility, and that if done properly could be really shocking. Now, once again, I don't think there's a chance in hell Sydney's the killer in this thing. And honestly, if she were, it would take a really good motive and really good writing to get me to really buy that. So moving on, Sam and Tara Carpenter. I honestly don't see either of them being the killer either. I don't see either one of them leaving or taking off a Ghostface mask in the third act. I've said before, and I maintain that Sam, Tara, and Richie Kirsch are going to be your new Sid, Dewey, and Gayle going forward. That is what I believe. And I think not only are neither of those three that I just mentioned, Sam, Tara, and Richie, none of them are going to die, and none of them are going to be behind that mask, in my opinion. Once again, just my opinion. I think those three are your new core three going through into what could be several more films. And that's, that's what Spyglass is saying. And I think if it makes the money that I believe it's going to make, that's probably what we'll see. Now, moving on, Judy Hicks is a returning character from Scream 4 who was very fucking suspicious. Sus, as the kids are saying these days. She had that backstory that kind of reminded me, and I've heard other people mention this too, of what Angelina Tyler's character was kind of supposed to be had she been revealed as the Ghostface killer in Scream 3 along with Roman. I get heavy vibes off that weird cockeyed moment that Judy gives Sid in the hallway of their of her aunt's home. I think there is a definite possibility that Judy Hicks could be the killer in this film, and I think that there is a less likely chance, but still maybe it's there, that she was involved with the killings going on in Scream 4. With that being said, I think it would be interesting if she had a partner in her very own son, Wes Hicks. Now, it's probably not going to be that Wes is, Billy or Stu's kid, because my understanding is that Wes is in high school. And by the time this film comes out, if we stay along the same timeline that we normally have in the Scream films, the original events would have taken place 25 years ago. So Billy and Stu were dead 25 years ago. I don't think they got a kid that's still in high school unless he has failed a lot. And I think they kick you out of school at like 21 if you in high school if you haven't graduated. So I don't think that he's going to be like Billy or Stu's kid from the original, but I do think that Judy is very suspicious. I think she's got some of the attributes that Angelina Tyler had that they never used, as her being a Ghostface. I think it's there. And it would be interesting to see the first ever mother-son team. Now, we saw Billy Loomis as a Ghostface. We saw his mother. I've sometimes referred to her as Nancy Loomis, which I guess is a reference to Halloween. But together at the same time, I think that would be pretty interesting to see a mother-son duo of Ghostface killers. And I think it's totally possible that we may be seeing the Hickses under the Ghostface mask. So speaking of family ties as the Ghostface killer, I also think it's very possible that we may very well end up with a first ever, which are twins as the Ghostface killers. I'm talking about Martha Meeks's daughter and son, Randy's niece and nephew, Chad Meeks Martin, and Mindy Meeks Martin. I think it's totally possible that we get the first ever twin Ghostface killers in this film. I think that there are some definite family ties there, with Martha being their mother, she being somewhat involved in the third film, with the cameo involving Randy's cassette tape, or VHS tape rather. I think there's a possibility that you could see these two as the Ghostface killers off their own mother, or could you see for the first time three killers with the Meeks family being all three under the hood? Would be pretty interesting. But I gotta say, I doubt that Martha would be involved, because I think that Martha, we weren't supposed to know that she was going to be a part of this film. Let's just go ahead and put that out there right now. I don't think we were supposed to know that. I think the cast fucked up that day at the beach when they were, hanging out with each other, and that footage got, or those pictures, whatever it was, got leaked to Instagram. Well, I shouldn't say leaked; they were just put out there. But the Scream fans were very savvy and knew exactly who that was right off the bat. So, I don't think that Martha is going to play the part of Ghostface. I think it would be interesting to see a mother and her twin offspring under the mask. But I think Martha's probably dead in this one, if I got to be honest with you. So I don't think that's going to happen. Another interesting thing that has been floating around, and I think that whereas it may, Kyle Gallner's character, Vince, he is older than a lot of the cast in this film. So I think that the rumors that he could possibly be a Loomis, he's got the look for it, as you can see right here. His character, if I'm not mistaken, is older than a lot of the other characters in this film. Maybe he could actually be the son of Billy Loomis. Now, we saw months back the IMDb, which anyone can edit, briefly said that his name was Vince Loomis. That could have been Radio Silence or Spyglass playing games with us. That could have been just a fan, wanting to, create more speculation. Whatever the case may be, I think it's a possibility. Like I said, the guy really does favor Skeet Ulrich, Billy Loomis, and him, at least from the way I view this, his character being older than a lot of these other people, he could definitely be 25 years of age. Let's just say that. I don't know the guy's age, but I know he was in the Nightmare on Elm Street remake, which was garbage. Hopefully he doesn't continue making bad horror films, because I really want Scream to be good. So I know he's a little bit older. And maybe he's 11 years old at this point, and he looked like he was maybe in his, late teens, early 20s at that point. So I think it's a possibility that this Vince character, considering every other character on this list has a first and last name, he's the only one. And that red flag is all I'm saying. If he were the killer, an accomplice built into this, I don't really see off the top of my head. Maybe Judy Hicks, if there is a connection. Like I said, she goes back to Woodsboro. She goes back to Woodsboro High with Sydney. I'm sure there's some sort of a possibility with those two as well, or maybe at the very least some sort of involvement. Now, the rest of the characters here on this list, I'm seeing here like Amber Freeman, Liv McKenzie, who, if I'm not mistaken, is a relative of the McKenzies who were down the street from the Beckers in the original Scream. And, of course, a couple of deputies in Deputy Farney and Deputy Vinson. I don't really see any cops being the killer. The Amber Freeman character, I don't really honestly know too much about. I guess there's always the possibility that she could be under the hood here in this one if there's some sort of a story good enough to do so. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know much about that character. If I had to guess, I'd say Liv McKenzie may very well be an opening kill, honestly, considering the relation and the fact that whenever they discuss these characters or whenever we see a list of these characters, her name is always very low at the bottom. So I think there's a possibility that she could be an opening kill. So to go ahead and put this all in perspective, the handful of names that I think could be Ghostface could be under this mask. I think a Gayle and a Dewey scenario is highly unlikely, but I did want to throw it out there just in case, because the thought had crossed my mind, and I kind of hope I'm onto something with this video so I can come back on January 23rd and say, haha, I fucking told you so. So there's the Dewey and Gayle scenario. I don't think it's very likely, but I wanted to put it out there. There's the Judy and Wes Hicks scenario, mother and son. There is the Vince scenario, which could possibly include Judy as well. I think that a Vince Judy could be interesting. I think that Judy may be having Billy's kid, and there could be some shenanigans here. I think maybe she could have two kids. There could be something going on. I don't know. I think it's a possibility. Also, the Meekses or the Meeks Martins in Chad and Mindy, I think that there's something that could possibly be going on with them as well. So those are my picks. Those are a couple of the scenarios I have floating around in my head as to who this killer could be. I think that, maybe someone may watch this video and say, maybe I'm digging a little too deep into the Billy and Stu stuff, but Stu's house is in this movie. There's someone walking around outside of this house in some of the material pictures taken behind the scenes who is wearing what looks just like the coat, the Letterman jacket that was Stephen Orth was wearing the night he and Casey were killed in the original film. And a lot of people say, yeah, that's just the school's Letterman jacket. But I mean, there's been no update to it, nothing different. We're definitely going to get some flashbacks. There's definitely going to be some heavy involvement from the original film, while also, I believe, that's going to sprout and give birth to a whole new story that we're going to be going over in maybe 2 or 3 more movies. Who knows? I don't know. So yeah, that's what I got floating around in my head. Those seem to be right now, based on what we know about these characters, the most obvious to me, or certain little red flags stand out to me. So it is now your all turn. I want you all to let me know down in the comment section below, who do you think is going to be behind the Ghostface mask? Who's going to be behind that Father Death mask? Come January, 22nd? I can't believe I forgot the date. So yeah, I want to know what you all think. Drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think about my picks, and I want to hear your picks as well. Also, while you're there, go ahead and like this video. If you did indeed like it, show me by fucking liking it. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe and turn on notifications by clicking that little bell. That way, hopefully, fingers crossed, if YouTube gets off their ass, you'll be the first one to know when I go live or upload. And definitely check down below in the description section. You'll see a couple of links to follow me on Twitter or support my work and this channel on Patreon. That would be fan-fucking-tastic of you. The bee's knees even. So with that said, let me know what you all think. I'm excited, if in case you can't tell, one of my favorite franchises and one of my favorite things to do in these films is try to figure out who's wearing that mask before the camera reveals who it is. So I'm Brand from Bloody Breakdown. Super excited. Let me know what you all think, and we will catch you all next time.